The next person is John.
All right, so how does this work? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, copy. So, hey, what's going on, doctor? My name is John Gilbert. I'm representing the 11691 district. Uh, this is really just my main question because like I'm still a young man. I'm really not. I'm freshly 30. Two kids, married. Like paying bills, regular essential working and stuff like that. I feel like this. We are in a situation right now where we need people like you more than ever. You know why? Because conspiracy theories are killing our community. And the conspiracy theories are no longer being conspiracy theories. They're actually being conspiracies because of the fact that how we're being treated during this pandemic. I'm not really too sure of what the gist of these conversations are, but I believe that it's somewhere where you want us to believe in the coronavirus shot, so COVID shot 19. Personally, I'm on board. I personally think it's a great idea. You know what I mean? The only thing what I'm also trying to, I'm sorry, the only thing that I feel is if you want the community to be more on board with actually receiving these COVID shots, we're gonna have to find some kind of way where we actually feel like the government cares about us. Because like
Yeah.
you got all the science, you got all the answers, you got the degrees, you got all of that. But at the end of the day, do you have your people's trust? Like, because the trust of your community is key right now. We have a president where we have it went from one slave owner to another slave owner. No offense to anybody inside this group. You know what I'm saying? But this is the reality. Like you said, common sense. You want us to try to get these COVID shots, then we need to try to make sure that we actually have a hospital to actually go to get these shots. Far
Yeah,
Rockaway's
because
hospital is being closed down as we speak. Like, what? Like, how do I feel comfortable in this community knowing that we're only going to have 15 beds in a hospital where it was a hot spot,
Yeah.
and expect the government to care about me?
Yeah, this is a great question. And, I've actually said that with the new administration coming in, I said one of the biggest challenges they have is earning the people's trust because people had good reason not to be trusting of the government. And so the first thing I felt they needed to do was really talk to people and talk to people in a way that they can understand and relate to people. It's okay having a former president show that the vaccine, he's getting the vaccine, that's great. But you got to have different types of people. You got to have ball players, you got to have doctors, you got to have politicians, lawyers, teachers, ministers, rappers, entertainers. You got to have everybody in some type of universal campaign speaking the way they speak and in their way, in their language, talking to people and letting people know that not only do we value your lives, but we also need to make sure you are equitably getting the vaccine and it's getting into the neighborhoods and people that need them. The vaccine rollout, John, was horrific. You hear stories about certain zip codes getting the vaccine. You can't sit there and say, for months, they kept saying how everyone agreed African Americans were dying 3 times the rate of white people who got COVID, 3 times the rate. So you can't say that on one hand and then turn around when it's time to distribute the vaccine and the vaccine's not going into the communities that are dying from it. That's not a way you build trust. Then you hear stories about rich New Yorkers flying down to Florida to get the vaccine and people hooking each other up. This has just been a nightmare. It's been very bad. And the public relations part of this has been awful. So I'm hoping that African Americans who are very smart, we are very smart people, and we're skeptical, and we should be skeptical, by the way. But I'm hoping that we don't allow people to pull the okey doke on us. Don't let people make you think that the vaccine is not, you can't trust the vaccine because we're already dying 3 times at a higher rate. Imagine what will happen if we don't get the vaccine. A lot of us are going to die out. That's the last thing we can afford to do. And some people have said that they believe a lot of these conspiracy theories have been put out there to mislead African Americans and other people of color and impoverished people so they don't get the vaccine. So I agree with you, John, in your sentiment that we need to be able to trust the government. The government has to do a better job of talking to us so that we understand what's being said and we believe that they believe in us. You're all in the pool. Imagine somebody in the corner of the pool going pee. Okay? You're in the same pool. Guess what? Sooner or later, you're going to get in contact with that pee, right? It may be diluted by the time it gets to you, but you're going to be contaminated by that urine, okay? This is what's happening. Even though you live in a state that may have a mask mandate, that's great for you guys. But we live in the United States and our state borders are not closed. So people who are in those mask mandate-less states who took off the mandates, those people are allowed to travel into your state. That's the urine that can contaminate you in a crowded pool. So yeah, masks work, but only if people are mandated to wear masks. How many videos do you need to see? People on airplanes. Look at the video just today. A couple on an airplane giving the flight attendant and the gate operator a hard time about wearing masks on a plane in a closed cabin.